Hello, it's this week's The Story of a Poor Boy. I'm Mikey.
I'm Matt.
Yep, and we're going to be talking all things Liverpool again this week. So, this week, Liverpool record a 2-1 win away at Wembley. First time we've won at Wembley since we beat Everton in the FA Cup semi-final.
It's been a while.
By the same scoreline.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what we were missing, that scoreline.
No big bastard scoring the winner, though. So, slight difference.
No, but he's a much better footballer. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to talk about Spurs. We're going to talk about what the rest of the Premier League were up to this weekend. Have a good old laugh at Everton like we always do.
Of course.
Have a little chat about Chelsea. And then we'll have a look at PSG and Southampton coming up this week.
Yes.
In what is sure to be absolutely exhilarating week of football for Liverpool fans.
Yeah, well, this was the start of that grueling 7 games that everyone reckons that we're terrified of, but really we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for every game now. Like, this run of 7 games is so fucking exciting.
Yep, it really is.
Before we set off with all that, can I just say, 5 from 5.
5 from 5.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, I mean,
Chelsea might have gone ahead of us on goal difference, but we're on our way to 114 points.
Sorry if you heard the siren in the background then doing Liverpool.
Yeah, someone's coming to arrest me for saying that.
But
like, he's a wall, get him.
It is 5 from 5. I mean, we can only talk about what we've seen.
Uh-huh.
It is 5 wins from 5 games. It has only been matched by one other team, and that is Chelsea. And now we're at a point where we've made a team in Spurs who everyone regarded as a good bet for a title tilt before the summer anyway.
Possibly,
before they fucked up in the summer and didn't sign anybody for whatever reason.
Everybody even signed their new stadium.
Liverpool have now just made them look incredibly average. And
yeah, I think that's the main takeaway from this game is we looked good. Spurs really just didn't.
I mean, you have to watch the game to appreciate that, and it's not a game where you look at the stats and you're like, oh, Liverpool were clearly the better team there. I mean, Spurs bossed the possession, they have 60% of it. We have 17 shots on goal, 10 on target. They have 11. I mean, on the face of it, corners, we've got 4, they've got 5. On the face of it, it's pretty even. It's a pretty even football game.
Yeah.
But the thing that immediately jumps out when watching it was that Liverpool just had more awareness of what was going on than Tottenham did. And Liverpool had quite a clear and concise game plan.
Yeah.
Whereas Tottenham were just trying to figure out the game, and by the time they were figuring out the game, Liverpool were 2-0 up.
Yeah, they're a bit disjointed. I think the one statistic that shows how much more dominant we were, they only had 3 shots on target. So we completely negated their attack, really, up until their wonder goal in, what was it, the 92nd minute? It was a very, very good goal, but other than that, we didn't really trouble Alisson, I don't think. Harry Kane was non-existent, and we were all over them. It came to half-time, and all the commentators were saying, oh, Liverpool's so wasteful, could be 3, 4, 5, 6-0 up. And yeah, we could have been, but we were 2-0 up, so whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to go away to a big team and be by far the better team again. Let's not forget that this fixture last season was the most humiliating defeat of that season. I'd put that above City away 5-0 loss because of their sending off.
I would agree with that.
We completely fell apart against Spurs, and that triggered a complete change in how we set up defensively, and it's worked wonders throughout the season. And then this has been like coming full circle, going to Wembley again, going against this Spurs team, this exact same Spurs team, because we haven't bought anyone, and putting them to the sword, really. It should have been 4 or 5, but the fact that it was only 2-1, they can count themselves very, very lucky.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like a redemption arc.
Yes.
Of sorts, in the fact that Liverpool, as you've just said, Liverpool were very, very poor away at Spurs last season, and there's no getting away from that. Second half, we look more likely to get back involved in it, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
But, the scoreline didn't lie that day. Liverpool were not great. Dejan Lovren had probably the worst game of his career. What we've seen this weekend instead is Liverpool with an assured performance, and I think the first thing I see when I watch that game on Saturday is that Tottenham immediately go about it the same kind of way that they tried to last season, in that they immediately aim for the high ball over the top to Kane. Kane's a clever footballer. I'll get on to Harry Kane in a bit because I want to discuss him a little bit.
Yeah.
But Kane's a clever footballer, and he made Dejan Lovren, who, regardless of what you think, he is a very good defender.
He's the best defender in the world, I think you'll find.
But he is a very clever footballer, and he made him look extraordinarily poor that game.
Yes,
that game. He was getting no change out of Virgil van Dijk this week or Joe Gomez, and straight away Spurs realised that they might not be getting any joy in this situation, and they've now got to think of a different way of playing.
They kind of switched in the second half, I noticed, to taking it wide and trying to cross it in. But then again, Van Dijk seemed to win every single one. It was ridiculous how little he gave away.
He didn't really have much to do in terms of marking the striking talent at Tottenham, because at the end of the day, Lucas Moura was very much more involved than Harry Kane, and Lucas Moura was dropping deep a lot to get the ball, maybe coming out wide a lot more than he was probably expecting to.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of expects Tottenham to line up with more of an orthodox 4-4-2 this season, just because of the way they've started, really, with Moura and Kane basically lining up next to each other. It's just interesting that, as you say, Tottenham had to change their tact, but Liverpool looked prepared for that.
Yeah.
Like, Liverpool looked willing to just go, right, okay, go on. You go out wide, we're going to play extremely narrow, and we're going to let you go out wide. Yeah. And then the second you go out wide, we're going to pounce. And straight away, we're going to win that ball back, and then we're on the counter.
Yeah, exactly. And when that cross comes in, and Virgil van Dijk inevitably wins it, then we have our possession back, and then we can go on the counter. And we hit them on the counter so many times. Arguably should have scored more, but still, like, it's if you keep hitting them on the counter, more often than not, you're going to win these games.
Yeah.
If you can out-think them and out-tactic them, that's not a word, but whatever, I want to go with it. You got 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the game, and then we did.
Yeah.
It took a moment of very poor defending from a corner and a moment of magic from, was it Lamela?
Yes.
For them to score in the 92nd minute, but other than that, they just were not at the races at all. And this is a good Tottenham side. This is a really, really good Tottenham side, managed by a really, really good manager. Just weren't at the races at all.
Yeah. It looked a Tottenham team that were devoid of ideas.
Yeah.
And a Tottenham team where basically Liverpool figured them out in the two methods that they tried to use. Liverpool figured them out, and then Tottenham went, "Fuck, what do we do?" And I think a massive...
Bring on every attacker they've got. They brought on Son, they brought on Lamela.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be bringing Son off the bench as well.
Oh yeah, kill him. But then we've got Sturridge, we've got Shaqiri.
Yeah, and
so we're fine.
Yeah, that was a point I was about to make, is that Liverpool, however, do have plenty of quality themselves there.
Oh, yes.
There was a stat, I know I was mentioning the stats before from the game. Just on the face of it, doesn't look too... it doesn't look too much to separate the two sides. But the expected goals, that new stat that a lot of people don't like.
I love it.
I love it too. I think it's a lot easier to...
It tells the story of the game a lot more than the normal stats.
And Liverpool should have won 3-4-1, I think it was, something like that, based on clear-cut chances. And we created plenty of chances. We missed plenty of chances too. Again, we'll get round to that.
I am fine with strikers missing chances, you know.
Yeah,
I really, really am, because it means they're getting in the positions. Everyone's like, "Oh, Salah's having a bad season." He's 2 goals, an assist or 2. We're only 5 games in, and like he's getting in the positions. He's got
the same number of goals at this point in the season as he had last season.
He's shit. It's rubbish.
Yeah,
sub him.
So, I mean, there's no growth there, is there? Really, he should be cracking on. Should
sell him.
Should be on 10 by now, by last season's standards. One thing you do notice from this game is how important Liverpool's midfield is to the game, because when we go wide, when Tottenham go wide, and Liverpool immediately go out to press them, it it's the midfield doing that press,
Yeah.
as well as the fullbacks, and we see James Milner having another incredible game. How he's 32, I don't know. And Naby Keita's doing the same down the other side. Gini Wijnaldum's decided that he's going to be Claude Makelele, and I fucking bang into it. In fact, Claude Makelele wasn't this good.
He wears Gini Wijnaldum pyjamas.
Definitely, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. It's ridiculous. He thinks he's Patrick Vieira all of a sudden.
But that midfield is so good. And to have Gini Wijnaldum at the base of our first team midfield, having bought Fabinho in the summer and having Jordan Henderson, who is a fantastic holding midfielder in my opinion, it's brilliant that we've got like 3 players to choose from in that.
Yeah.
This run of 7 grueling games that are terrifying to everybody apparently. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see this squad have a go at all of that. With Gini Wijnaldum, with Jordan Henderson, with Fabinho, with Shaqiri and Sturridge to come in, I can't wait. I really, really can't.
If I'd have told you in July that Gini Wijnaldum would be starting as Liverpool's number 6 this season, bearing in mind the business we've done, you'd have laughed in my face.
Yeah, definitely.
And James Milner wouldn't have been starting every week as well.
No.
But it's such a tribute to the pair of them and how they've kicked on this season and how they've... Basically, they are just the epitome of Klopp players, which is something we say about pretty much everyone in this squad at the moment. But
I feel like those two properly sacrifice themselves to the team.
Yeah. Particularly Wijnaldum.
Yeah.
You expect this from Milner because you've seen it throughout his career. He did it at Newcastle, Villa, did it at City, and we've already seen him play fullback at Liverpool. He is completely selfless, and you have to love the man. You really do. And the fact is, he's going to start against PSG tomorrow night, and he's probably going to be the best midfielder on the pitch.
Oh, yes.
With, Adrian Rabiot on the other side.
Shit them.
Fucking mad.
They wear Wijnaldum pyjamas as well.
More on
you
that
should really
later.
start selling them. Like, you could make bank.
We really should. We will move on to Genie in a minute.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Whilst we're talking about it, though, there's a stark contrast as well between Liverpool's quality in midfield and Spurs' lack of quality in midfield.
Yeah, so I saw a poll going around on Twitter of who of the top 6 had the best midfield 3, and a lot of the votes, Spurs were coming out above Liverpool for quality of their midfield 3, and I just did not understand that at all. Especially the midfield 3 that they played on Saturday.
It's the name. It's the names that they've got there. So I mean, you look at this game just gone, and we've got Christian Eriksen against us. We've got Eric Dyer and we've got Moussa Dembele. On
Harry
paper,
Winks, don't forget Harry Winks.
And Harry Winks as well. So I mean, with that, they're playing a diamond. Eric Dyer's sitting at the base of it. You can understand, because Dembele is he was a very good footballer.
I do like Dembele.
I think the myth's dying a little bit now with him.
Perhaps.
I don't remember being impressed with him in the last 6-7 months. Christian Eriksen's a great footballer, but the player I really want to talk about is Eric Dyer.
Yes,
because
Harry Winks we can let off. He's very young.
Yeah,
I think he's crap, but whatever. He's very young.
But the sad duckling that is Eric Dyer. I genuinely think that's one of the worst individual performances against Liverpool I've seen in a long, long time.
It's nice to see, isn't it?
It really is, and it's a shout out to everybody who actually believes he's better than Jordan Henderson as well. Because
hi guys, you fucking idiots.
I mean, I can't believe how much he got away with. I think if Liverpool were at their ruthless best yesterday, Liverpool could have won 7-8-1.
Oh yeah.
If they'd have fancied it. 7-8-0, actually, to be honest, because we'd have put them to bed a long time before that. But Eric Dyer would have directly contributed to, I think, at least 5 of those goals. He is a key part of the Gini Wijnaldum goal. It's a terrible defensive header. He loses the ball so many times. James Milner dispossesses him for one counter-attack.
He cannot handle a press, can he?
He really can't. He plays Salah in the first half, and Salah really should do better. He just hits it straight down Vaughan's throat. I think it's one of the worst displays I've seen from a midfielder against Liverpool in ages, as I've just said. I can't think of many worse.
No, I'm struggling to think of a worse performance against us. Usually shit players turn it on against us.
If he's foreign, I know he's half foreign, but if he's not an English international, sorry, if he's not a white English international, he's getting raked over the coals.
Oh, of course.
In the papers today.
If he was a black English international,
He'd
my
be-
God.
Yeah, he'd be tarred and feathered.
Yeah.
And they'd be looking at how much his car's worth and
Oh, of course, yeah.
how shit he is and how it directly, how there's a direct correlation between him and his footballing ability and his car's worth.
A tabloid press, eh? What a good bunch of guys. What a great bunch of guys.
But yeah, I just think Eric Dyer really. I mean, I used to think he had all the potential in the world, and he probably still does have some of it somewhere. But I don't know where he's hiding it.
The best description of Eric Dyer I've ever heard was, I can't remember who it was from, but it's what the people who hate Jordan Henderson think Jordan Henderson is. That's what Eric Dyer is.
Yeah.
That's the kind of midfielder that they think Henderson is. And he's crap.
He is absolutely awful. And he really, really, really did not do Tottenham any favours at all.
No. Did Liverpool some favours, though, which is nice.
He did. And one of those favours, as I've already said, is he gets the assist for Gini Wijnaldum's goal, really.
His first away from home in the Premier League.
Yes. He's still not hit the back of the net in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I hope he never does.
Never.
I hope every goal he scores away from home in the Premier League goes down to goal line technology.
It's a clever move from Liverpool. The corner is really well thought out. Jurgen Klopp mentions afterwards it's got nothing to do with Michel Vorm. It's all about Tottenham and how they line up.
Yeah.
And all we do is literally we put Van Dijk near the keeper, and all of a sudden the keeper just goes, no, can't handle this, handle this. Flicks the ball on. Somehow Eric Dyer thinks heading it like 5 yards away from him is a good idea.
Is he aiming for Eriksen?
I don't know. I can't. I've been trying to work it out. I can't decide if he's trying to just get high, like distance on it, and he's just not really.
It's a really weird place to put the head. Like, just if in doubt, just head out for a throw. Jesus Christ!
Over the bar.
Yeah,
just back up over the bar.
Yeah.
But instead, what he does is he gives it to Wijnaldum. Credit to Gini Wijnaldum. It probably isn't as easy a chance as we're saying Eric Dyer's made it, but it's a fucking hell of a header.
It is a really, really good header. Like, the way it just loops over is just lovely. And
I think Vorm is also he's impeded a little bit by Kieran Trippier as he comes back towards it.
Is that because I think I saw one of our players running, and I think he might have dragged Trippier across.
I think Trippier was marking the back post of them.
Okay, fair enough. But it might have been someone else.
It was really strange because I turned around to Jamie while we were watching the match and I was just like, it's just classic Liverpool that we like this season, and it is becoming classic that for all of our good play we're going to score from a corner or we're going to score from just a
we are
really
getting good at set pieces
goal.
now. Really, really good at set pieces, I think.
We really are. It probably helps that we were learning to defend them.
Yeah, definitely.
We probably just went, you know what, we're good at this now.
Yeah. But the people who are good at defending set pieces generally are the ones that are good at attacking them as well, aren't they?
It's also telling that we score when we do. Like, in terms of, it's the 40th minute, is it?
Yeah.
And to get a goal at that point in time, right before half time, very similar to what we did against Leicester as well. It completely, it's an old cliche, but it makes the team that you're playing against really think about what they have to do now, and it changes everything about the game. And all of a sudden, their manager's going in and he's rethinking everything that he's about to tell his team.
The half-time talk would be just, okay, keep doing what you're doing, tweak a few things. Like we need to get into this properly, but we're still in it. It's fine. Going in 1-0 down, they've got to think of something to fix this now.
Yeah,
they've got to really change something. They can't just tweak a little bit because it's obviously not working, and they already have that goal deficit. So they need to do something to be able to score two.
Definitely. And I think it's a credit to Liverpool because it's been happening for a while now. That we have this kind of ruthlessness about when we're getting our goals.
So the middle 20 minutes of the first half, generally I don't think we push that hard, but it's like the first 10 and the last 10 of the first half. But that's when we try and put teams to the sword, because an early goal can really set our team up for success, or set their team up for panic and failure. And a goal just before half time can have the same effect. Can completely change the game for the second half and put it in our favour.
Well, I mean, just looking through it now, I mean, so this season, Liverpool, West Ham, Mane scores 45+2.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Crystal Palace, James Milner scores 45th minute penalty. Sorry. Brighton, middle of the first half.
Yeah.
Boo. Leicester, 45th minute.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, 39th minute.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. That's every game of the 5 Liverpool have scored within 10 minutes of the break.
Yeah. Do you think this is because we are just the fitter team? And then when it's coming to half-time, maybe players are slowing down a little bit, they know the whistle's coming, and we're still firing on all cylinders?
It might well be. It might well be something to do with that, because it is impressive to keep going for as long as we do.
Yeah,
in
and
a
keep
game.
knocking on the door like we do.
And there's no let-up with Liverpool. It seems to be like... I used to say that Liverpool had like a purple patch across half-time under Klopp.
Just before half-time and just after half-time,
Yeah, exactly. And Arsenal away in Klopp's first full season.
The 4-3.
The 4-3 is the perfect example of that, and the fact that we just blew Arsenal away, but like in that time period, we just hit a purple patch, as it was. And that's a perfect example, and I think that might... I don't know whether it's something Liverpool are actively working on, but I think the way that we play gives credence to that. And
I reckon it's definitely when concentration is most likely to drop in other teams.
And it is
like just before half-time and just after coming back on, maybe we're a bit sluggish.
It is impressive, in particular, when you consider that one thing that we've always said about Liverpool is that we do struggle to break down teams, and we don't pick our moments properly, and I think that indicates 4 out of 5 games this season we've scored within 10 minutes of the break. I mean, I think that indicates there's a ruthlessness there. Yeah, and it can't just be a coincidence.
No,
it can't just be a coincidence. But on the other side of half time, Liverpool still dominating, still absolutely flying. 54th minute, Roberto Firmino gets the most FIFA goal you're ever going to see.
I wonder what the expected goals from the goal was.
Honest to God, it's so weird. Mane passes the ball across, even though he's the most selfish player in the world, according to Egyptian Twitter.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Jamie Carragher's just covering Monday Night Football now. While we're talking.
We'll rewind it a bit. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, you can't? It's now TV.
Bollocks.
That's fine. It'll turn up. It'll turn up somewhere. It's a really sloppy goal from Spurs.
Oh, it's awful. Like, you can say it's a little bit unlucky, but to let Mane, who is so dangerous and so quick, to allow him behind their line in the first place, that's the sloppy part, I think.
Well, I mean, that is poor, but Vorm fresh airs it. He literally lunges on top of the ball and misses the ball completely. And Firmino couldn't have an easier task if he tried. That's the easiest goal. I think it's
I would feel a bit bad for Vorm coming in as the substitute goalkeeper. He's not expected to play many games, and he's thrown against one of the best front threes in the world. But substitute goalkeepers usually always have flyers against us, so fuck Vorm.
Yeah,
to be quite frank.
I completely agree with that. And also, our substitute goalkeeper is Simon Mignolet, so fuck substitute goalkeepers in the arse, because I can't be arsed with any of them.
They should all be banned from playing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it feels weird that for all of Liverpool's good attacking work, we do score from 2 sloppy goals, really.
Goal,
2 scruffy goals. I mean, the first one, as Carragher talks about it there, the first one is still scruffy. It's still ricocheting around the area and then put away. Like, thank God for goal line technology.
Yeah.
And then the second one, as we've already said, it's really scruffy, and it's really disappointing that that's the way that Liverpool have had to have scored in terms of how many other chances we've created. But at the same time, it's luck, and it's luck that we don't normally have.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I like it. I think because it's one thing to say that it's just purely down to luck, but our players are still getting into these positions.
Oh, definitely.
It might be a little bit of a rub of green actually scoring these scruffy goals, but we are doing everything right, and
Yeah.
we're getting these goals. We are going to continue to do everything
Definitely.
right, and it will click for the front three. It will click for Mane, it will click for Salah, it will click for Firmino, and then we're going to start to score like 5s and 6s.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm over the moon that we're scoring scruffy goals, and Gini Wijnaldum's getting his first away goal in the Premier League. He probably won't score again for this entire season now. But I'm fine with that because it's only a matter of time before it all properly clicks.
Yeah.
And while it's not properly clicking, I'm loving having a bit of luck. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah, I'll rip your hand off for that. I saw someone commenting on Twitter before saying that basically he thinks Liverpool, like last season, Liverpool weren't exactly like we weren't free scoring at the start of the season as we were towards the end of the season. But what changed is we went away and we stuck 7 past Spartak Moscow, and we stuck 7 past Maribor, and all of a sudden everyone's just gone, you know what, we're dead good at scoring goals here. Let's just fucking keep scoring now.
Yeah.
And it's not so much a problem whilst Liverpool are defensively rigid. And, you know, only 2 goals conceded in our first 5 games. Very impressive.
Take that.
Alisson's had fuck all to do this week. There's a very good save and a very underrated save from a Christian Eriksen free kick.
Yes.
Where
Alisson, because everyone in the dog was thinking he was going to go top right, and he tried to go bottom left.
But he holds it as well. Which is something Liverpool goalkeepers don't tend to do.
He's got such big, strong arms, hasn't he?
I just want him to hold me. Yeah. Although, talking about Liverpool goalkeepers, Loris Karius apparently had a very good game for Besiktas yesterday.
Oh, good.
Yeah. That's a different point.
Smashing all the Turkish birds.
Fucking hell. Right. So, what you know, we're talking about Twitter briefly then. Social media in general, and in particular Egyptian social media has had a little bit of a vendetta against Sadio Mane.
They've latched onto Sadio Mane.
Yeah. That's probably the best way of talking about it. Yeah. They've latched onto Sadio Mane because basically there's a couple of chances where he probably could give Salah the ball instead.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
And arguably should, but so my thinking with it is, I was halfway through trying to talk to you about it last night over text, but I got halfway through the text and put my phone down. So I looked at it this morning. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't send this. But this Liverpool front three, this Liverpool attack, is not predictable. So I think one of the best examples of it was in that Arsenal game that we talked about earlier, the 4-3 in Klopp's first full season. I think it was Mane who had the ball, and it was Ronaldo on his left and Lallana on his right, and it looked like it was very, very clear that the ball should go to the left. That was where the opportunity was. That was where the better chance was. Instead, he passes to Lallana on his right, who then blams it into the top corner, and it's absolutely fantastic. No one saw it coming, and arguably that's why the goal went in, because everybody was expecting the ball to go on the left. Fast forward to now, and Mane's running up. He's got Keita on his left. He's got Salah on his right. Salah is in more space, but Mane is well within his rights to choose to pass to Keita rather than Salah, because that's how this front three works. That's how our attack works. It's fluid, it's unpredictable, and like Gini Wijnaldum scored away from home this Saturday. Like, you could pass it to fucking whoever. So you could have been Van Dijk running to his left.
See, I think, in fairness to Mane, I think that Keita at a point is the better ball.
Yeah.
It's just, he's already probably made his mind up that it's going to Keita. It's just as the play develops and Tottenham's defence kind of falls away and retreats a little bit further, the play does open up for it to be Salah.
It does,
instead.
yeah.
But I think he's already made his mind up that it's going to Keita. And I'm fine with that. And I also think that there's 2 things that you need to be taken into consideration when we look at that goal. And just take that across, if we look at this moment in isolation and then expand it across the entire game as well. So in isolation, as I've said, I think Keita's probably the better ball at a certain point. It's also a chance for Naby Keita to score for Liverpool. Now, whether this enters Mane's head or not, we don't know. But it's been well publicised that Naby Keita and Sadio Mane are very good friends, and Klopp said himself after, I think it was Palace, was it, that Keita's quite shy He's not quite getting on with everybody. It's not that he's not getting on. It's just he doesn't really talk to anybody.
Yeah,
else.
he's a bit of an introvert.
And it's a chance for him to settle down in English football with a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And once he gets a goal, and once he gets a massive confidence lift that a goal will bring him from centre midfield in particular, then it might well help him settle down.
Yeah.
And that might well enter into Mane's thinking. And the other thing as well is that about 5 minutes beforehand, Liverpool counter, and Mane gets the ball in the centre. And he does his trademark. He goes back to goal. He does his trademark spin onto his left foot for some fucking mad reason. He's right-footed. He does it regularly. Right?
His left foot is his shooting foot.
It
is.
He spins onto his left foot, and the pass to Keita is the ball at that point in time. But instead, he has the shot, and it goes straight up for him.
Yeah.
And I think had that not happened, I don't think Mane chooses the ball to Keita.
It's context, isn't it?
I think you can take any moment in isolation and you can look at it and you can be like, right, okay, well,
he should have
maybe
done
he
this.
should have done this, maybe he should have done that. But when you expand it over the entire game, other factors need to be considered. Not even the entire game, over the season, and as human beings. And we spoke about this already last week, well, not last week, 2 weeks ago. We fucked last week off because of the international break.
No, it happened.
But, yeah, fuck all happened. England is shite. There you go. And Luke Shaw got knocked the fuck out. But, yeah, I mean, we're looking at players as human beings in this. And Sadio Mane is entitled to make a poor decision. And yeah, fair enough, he's made a couple this season. And there have been points this season where I've even said it to you that there's a point where he needs to start passing to Salah a little bit more.
He is that kind of player, though. He just makes weird decisions. He does weird things with the football.
He does, and he's eccentric, and he is unpredictable. Mm-hmm. And I think that plays into his hands quite a fair bit. And the freedom he's getting because of the way that Salah plays and the way Firmino plays is helping Liverpool a lot this season. Whether or not they are passing to each other all the time. I mean, there's an argument to say, what if he passes the ball to Salah and then Salah takes an extra touch or something like that, and then all of a sudden why are we trying to be Arsenal trying to pass the ball into the back of the net? Do you know what I mean? It's just, there will be a point this season where that exact scenario will happen again, and it will probably be the same three players, and he will pick Salah, and Salah will put it in the back of the net, and everyone will be like, see, should have done that against Spurs.
But would we be having this conversation now if Keita had scored?
No.
It was still a good chance. He had a decent shot,
and that's what Klopp was saying.
A decent save.
And that's what Klopp was saying. I mean, you saw Klopp straight after the goal, after the chance. Sorry, he's sitting there and he can't believe that he's missed it, basically. And Liverpool got to a point where we put needless pressure on ourselves, and we have done that in the past. We've invited pressure onto ourselves, and because of our lack of ruthlessness in front of goal, if Virgil van Dijk's not at the back and if Alisson's not in goal, we might not see that game through.
True.
And there's an argument to say we shouldn't see that game through, because in the last minute, Sadio Mane tries his very, very best to give away a penalty.
Weird decisions.
Weird decisions, yeah. He loves a weird decision. It's a penalty.
It's a pen, yeah.
It's the clearest pen.
It is.
But it makes it so much better.
Oh, God, it does.
And it's a little bit of...
it's that rub of a green again.
Yeah. It's a little bit of retribution as well from last season.
Yeah, they got two pens. Fuck them.
Fucking terrible penalties at Anfield. The two penalties they got at Anfield last season were absolutely ludicrous. So I think we're entitled to have start to have a fair share of good decisions against... poor decisions, sorry, in our favour. It's a good decision from our behalf.
Oh, yes.
And the draw would have really, really flattered Spurs.
It really, really would have, because we should have been out of sight at half time.
Yeah. It will come. It will come.
Of course.
And it might come during this 7 game period. I personally hope it comes against PSG. Or if it's not going to come against PSG, I really, really, really want it to happen against Chelsea. And then take that into Man City.
Yes.
Because I could really, really do with Liverpool sticking fucking 8 past Chelsea.
How about double figures across both the games against Chelsea?
I mean, I get across both games.
No? Alright, fine, one.
I mean, double figures is a push. I'd take 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Past the two of them. Because I will say this again later, but I don't think Chelsea have had too hard at the start of the season, and I think they'll get found out when they play against someone but really good.
Yeah, Arsenal could have got something against them, and Arsenal aren't very good. We've just come up against a good Spurs side. They are good. They just don't really have much about them when Harry Kane's not on fire.
I think West Ham will give them a chance, a test next week.
I hope so.
Because I get to finally be sort of right about West Ham this week, and I'm really fucking happy.
Yeah, but it is against the Blues.
Yeah, so it is.
It doesn't really count, does it? They are shy.
I'm not done talking about Liverpool yet, though.
Yeah, I tried to give you a nice segue there.
Yeah, you did, and well done. I say that. I want to talk about Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned. He is. No. I have been saying this week that I don't understand Harry Kane. I'm going to explain it in the basic terms that I've been saying to you all week, so that people understand why I'm saying it. Is that I don't quite get how Harry Kane works in any other team in the top six.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is if you take Harry Kane out of Tottenham and you put him into Liverpool, you would notice automatically that Liverpool's grafting up front stops a little bit.
Especially because we're taking Firmino out, who was incredible on Saturday.
He really, really was, and I'll get on to that in a sec. You notice a significant drop-off in Liverpool's pressing when Sturridge comes on, for example. And, you know, although he's had a woeful time with injuries, it's probably a similar comparison to, say, Sturridge and Kane. In terms of movement,
in terms of actual involvement with the team.
I don't see him getting involved in at Arsenal if he was an Arsenal player.
No.
If he stayed at Arsenal. Lacazette and Aubameyang, two quick strikers who have got good movement, looking to play fluid football with Emery in charge. Chelsea actively avoiding playing Morata, who is in a similar ilk.
Starting Giroud now.
Giroud is, but the thing is with Giroud, and whether or not people agree, I don't give a flying fuck. Giroud is selfless.
Yeah, he'd bleed for his team.
Yeah, exactly, and he gets 2 assists for Hazard this weekend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's something that I don't. Harry Kane doesn't get assists. He really, really doesn't. Look at the records. He really doesn't get assists. United, he might fit in. You know, him and although there is a point where Lukaku chases back about fucking 60 yards.
Yeah, Lukaku is faster, and he's like, don't listen to what the police say. Like, his work rate is good.
Yeah, he
first touch
is
apparently shy though.
Yeah, well, he tracked back at least 60-70 yards to a right back position the other day to win a tackle, which was incredible to see from him, to be fair, because you just don't expect it.
And City, no fucking way.
Yeah, and City, no way. And so I think Harry Kane is a world class finisher, and no, there's no argument about that at all.
Nah, it's 4-season wonder.
Well, exactly. But I think he's a world-class finisher in this Tottenham team that's built around him. Yeah,
it's very built around him, with him being the focal point, and everything that they do points to him. Like fullbacks bombing up so high, that is purely to get crosses into him. Son and Eriksen behind him, Lamela coming, pardon?
And Ali.
And Ali, yeah, sorry. Although he's been that crap for about half a season now.
Well, I wouldn't say crap. I'd say 19, 20, is he?
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. So the attacking players that are behind him are designed to just feed him. Like Eriksen's crossing ability, Ali and Lamela's through balls, Mora now. He is the pinnacle of that team.
Yeah.
And there's no real pinnacle of like this Liverpool team. Everyone works for the team, everyone works for everyone else, and no one, well, if you want a pinnacle, no one epitomises that teamwork more than Roberto Firmino, does he?
Yeah, exactly. And Roberto Firmino, really, I mean, you've already touched on it, he impressed so much before he had his eye gouged out.
I can't believe how deep it went in.
I think
he touched his brain.
I didn't think anything of it.
No.
At the time, I thought he'd just been a bit Brazilian about it, to be honest, and went down a bit easily. And then you see it, and there's
apologise right now.
I really do apologise. I love you, Bobby. It's so strange, like how innocent it seemed at the time, to be fair. But yeah, it's just Firmino covers every blade of grass in the first half. He's constantly pressing. He's constantly winning the ball back. His touch is immaculate. I don't think his touch gets talked about enough. Firmino, I think when he gets the ball in a tight space, he is capable of taking 3 players out the game with a single touch.
Yeah, and it's absolute filth when he does it, because it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's so Brazilian.
And I don't think anybody quite compliments Mane and Salah the way that Firmino does. And maybe I'm doing Kane a disservice, and maybe Firmino doesn't work in other teams. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Firmino, you take him out and you put him into United. Maybe he doesn't work the same way.
He probably doesn't work for United.
Yeah. He'd work for City.
I was going to say, I think he'd definitely work for City.
Yeah.
I think he'd work really quite well in Chelsea, to be honest, given Willian/Pedro and Hazard a hell of a lot of space with how much work he does.
Do you know what? That'd be so good. I'm so glad he's a Liverpool player.
Oh, yes.
I think he'd work for Tottenham as well, to be fair.
Son works for Tottenham.
Well, that's what I mean. I think he'd free up. I think if you take Kane out and you put Firmino in, I think you automatically see Son, Ali and Eriksen just get more time on the ball.
Yeah.
And more... You just give them a bit more creative freedom.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that, like, particularly he'd score more goals than Harry Kane, but everyone around Harry Kane, where he used to be, would suddenly get more goals and get more active involvements in goals.
Sorry, I've just been distracted by the flashing lights of fucking St Mary's. What the fuck's going on there?
Fucking rave starting. Can't wait. Get the glow sticks out.
Fucking hell. Yeah. I think what I'm basically saying is, if you take the two of them and you take Kane and you take Roberto Firmino and you say to Pep Guardiola, and I'm going to use City as the example because City were the standout team last season, 100 points. Sergio Aguero, massive part of that. Let's say Sergio Aguero gets a bit bored and decides he wants to go back to Madrid and back to Atletico Madrid, and that's what he does next summer. And then you turn around to Guardiola and you can say, all right, you can have Firmino or Kane, who do you want? He picks Firmino every time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think anyway. I mean, maybe Guardiola just embarrasses me next year and decides he wants Harry Kane. But that'll only be because he can't have Bobby probably.
Probably. Well, you can't get the star striker away from like the newly elected Premier League champions when they finish fifth. Because that's going to happen when they sacrifice their league form to get to the Champions League final and lose against us. Yeah. I've got it all planned out.
And then we beat them in the Champions League final as well.
Exactly.
It'd be great. We've overcome our Wembley hoodoo now.
It is nice, and it's nice to overcome that embarrassing defeat that we had last year.
Yeah,
like that was the start of this defensively sound Liverpool now. Like it's taken a while to get there, nearly a year. I think that game was in November. So 8, 9, 10 months. But I think we've become, from that game...
No team has conceded less goals or kept more clean sheets than Liverpool since that Tottenham game.
We've become a title-challenging team since that game. It's like when we battered Chelsea and Arsenal battered Chelsea, and then they switched it up and then won the league. I think that game against Spurs came a little bit too late in the season.
Doesn't matter anyway.
And City were just ridiculous.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But now, we've carried that on, and we're now a title-challenging team.
The one thing we need to be careful of is the January blip. That has happened the last 2 seasons, and I don't know where it comes from, but it came 2 years ago when we drew with Sunderland out of nowhere.
It's a lot of fixtures. It's a hell of a lot of fixtures, and I think that's it. I think we've got the squad now.
But I mean, it happened. It happened this year as well. We got beat away at Swansea.
Yeah.
We get beat by West Brom, and then I can't remember. We dropped points elsewhere. I can't remember where. Wasn't great. Wasn't a great time. And then through the rest of the year, we're all more asked about the Champions League than anything else, so it doesn't really matter. I think that's a nice point, actually, mentioning the Champions League there. I think that's a nice point to move on to PSG. Before we move on, who's your man of the match? Because we haven't really spoke about anyone as a standout in that game.
I'm going to say Bobby.
Yeah, I could probably agree with that. for the sake of being different, I'm going to go James Milner.
Yeah, no, I thought you'd say that because he was absolutely everywhere. Yeah, I know we didn't really talk. I know we didn't really talk about him, but him in that midfield, it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's just the engine on him against this Spurs team, who are always lauded as such a young, such an energetic team.
Covered the most ground.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. He's done it every game this season,
and he created the most chances as well in that game.
He's gonna get the assist record this season as well in the Champions League and the league.
I've got so much time for James Milner. I really have.
Me too.
He's come on so much more than I was ever expecting him to since he's signed for Liverpool, and long may it continue. I'm sure it will, to be fair as well.
Yeah.
Big shout out as well to Joe Gomez for what is probably my favourite tackle the Liverpool players made since John Flanagan tried to kill Raheem Sterling. He just absolutely wipes out Lucas Moura.
Really does.
With a fucking stunning tackle.
Yeah.
It gets most of Wembley standing on their feet fuming. But it is
a fantastic tackle.
It's great, and it just kills the move dead.
Yeah.
And also he shows tremendous pace to get back and recover as well.
It's that time at right back and at left back probably did him the world of good to make him into like the kind of pacey centre back that he is today.
It probably also shows why Liverpool have not gone for Fekir a little bit, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is Liverpool quite clearly had a plan with Joe Gomez's injury and how it was repaired, and the medical team have clearly done a fantastic job of sorting it.
Yeah.
So if they weren't impressed with the job that was done on Fekir with a similar kind of injury, then you can sort of understand why they weren't willing to take a risk.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I haven't thought of that.
Yeah. I've literally just come to me now, to be fair, because I was just thinking, like, to show that amount of pace with that kind of injury, it also gives you a lot of confidence with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
I was literally about to say, it bodes well for Oxlade-Chamberlain,
Yeah.
seeing Joe Gomez come back so strong.
Yeah, exactly. And we know Jurgen Klopp's not going to rush him as well.
God, no.
And we also have evidence now to suggest Jurgen Klopp can get the best out of a player in his 30s. So, I mean, James Milner's probably playing the best football of his career at this point in time.
Yeah.
Which is saying something,
this season
he's
and
won
last
titles.
season.
He's won titles with City.
He has.
So,
but I don't think he played as well as he is for us.
He's a fantastic footballer, and I'm made up he's at Liverpool.
Love him.
One question before we move on then, about James Milner. It's just come to me. I really want to ask you this question.
Oh, shit.
Who's the better free transfer? Him or Gary Mack? Who's the better free transfer?
Milner. We're winning the league this year. It's Milner.
Yeah, I think that's what it hinges on, doesn't it?
Yeah, possibly.
If Liverpool win trophies this season as a result of James Milner playing as often as he looks like he's going to, then I think that's.
I just also think that James Milner was such a central figure in getting us to the Champions League final last season and retaining top four while doing that is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
For that being our first proper season in the Champions League for a long time, to be able to go that far in the Champions League and to retain top four and to look stronger this season, a lot has to be said for James Milner. Like the professionalism of him, he's the old head in the dressing room. He's absolutely sacrificed himself to this team. He spent a season at bloody left back, for fuck's sake. I love the man to bits.
Yeah,
it's such a good transfer.
Yeah, but Gary McAllister won.
Oh yeah, I know.
Also, is the reason Steven Gerrard became the player.
This is true.
But, all right,
and he's got a fucking great song.
Yeah, he has, to be fair. Okay, so slightly out of the order I wanted to go in, but let's talk about PSG then.
Yes.
So
fuck the rest of the weekend's games. Let's
Liverpool,
just talk PSG.
Fucking hell, where did you come from?
Jamie and the dog have returned.
And Kerry. Yeah, so Liverpool return to Champions League as do everyone this week, really, except for Everton and Arsenal and Chelsea. Yeah, so Champions League returns to Anfield. It's PSG. It's Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani. Liverpool is still better, though, aren't they?
Yeah. It's going to be one hell of a night under the lights. Cannot wait to have a team like PSG coming into town. It can only mean one thing, and it's Champions League. It's going to be like a festival atmosphere down there, and fuck them.
Yeah.
Who are PSG? We only got formed 12 years ago, and we've got a 12-year-old up top. We're better than them. Our
Yeah.
front three is better than their front three.
Um,
Our midfield is better than their midfield. Our defence is better than their defence. We're going to beat them.
Our manager's
7-0.
Our manager's better than their manager.
Yes.
Our goalkeeper's better than their goalkeeper.
Uh-huh.
Buffon's not playing this game because he's retired. He's retired. He's suspended still from the Champions League
he's not
final.
He's not going to be their first team goalkeeper anymore, I don't think either.
They're changing between him and Areola.
Yeah.
Nipple.
Yeah, that name always does make me laugh.
The back four's not as strong as it could be. Dani Alves is still out. Kazawa's not started this season as well. So Thiago Silva's probably going to start at the back with Kimbepe. I can't pronounce it. And then Marquinhos has been playing centre midfield alongside Rabiot for this season so far. And what they've tended to do is with the front four as it is now, of Cavani up top with Neymar sitting behind them, and then Mbappe on the left hand side and Angel Di Maria on the right hand side.
And obviously, I am not underestimating like their front three, front four. Like, it is ridiculously talented, but I just feel like we come up against better opposition week in, week out, and especially like this.
Sorry, what?
We come up against better opposition than they do week in, week out.
Oh, I thought you meant them better opposition than PSG.
Oh, no.
So you wouldn't name me fucking four.
No, but what I mean is, like, they will not be used to or ready for us at all.
Yeah.
And I think that this horrible run of fixtures that everyone keeps saying that we are terrified of, I think it was perfect. I think Spurs away was the perfect warm-up for PSG, because that is a team that is going to press, that is a team with attacking talent that we can keep out, and that is a team that we can show that our midfield is better and our front three can break in behind a good defence. I think it's the perfect warm-up for PSG, and we can take what we did at Spurs, which, like, we should have beat Spurs by a lot more. We can take what we did against Spurs and use that against PSG. I really, really do think so.
There's an argument for that. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, it's my argument.
I think if I was to pick a game to play PSG in, it would be the first group game. I'd probably prefer to play away this game.
Away first is usually better. But like we saw with the City game last season, we had them at home first and we absolutely blew them away.
That's in knockout football. But this isn't knockout football. This is just group stage.
No, but I think we need to think of it as knockout football.
I suppose what it also means is that we don't have PSG away is probably. Let's be honest here. If we're going to lose a game in this group, PSG away is the one you probably got. Jurgen Klopp's probably got circled. That will be the
Definitely.
one that Liverpool
But that means we need to make sure we win PSG at home and we beat Napoli both times.
Probably does give credence to the argument that it's probably fell at the right time, because you want that confidence boost. I mean, if Liverpool were to go away to PSG and drop points, then in this run of games it would be
there's a loss in that run of games.
You don't know how that's going to affect the rest of the team.
Yeah, and it affected like Rodgers is one of his biggest miscalculations was resting everyone for Madrid away, and then we don't know if we had played the first team against Madrid, maybe we would have been better against Chelsea in the game that he was saving all the players for. That loss would go down in their minds as like something confidence destroying, really.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. I mean, is there an argument that if we lose at Anfield, it's a similar thing? Or, I mean, if you could handpick a game to carry on, like to bounce back from, Southampton at home in this run of game is probably the games you would pick.
Probably.
Because it's a chance to absolutely fucking batter them, as we watch them play Brighton now.
Although, if I'm handpicking a game to lose, and I've seen a lot of arguments to say that, like, if you are handpicking a game to lose in
PSG.
This run, it is PSG. But I don't agree. Like, losing to PSG and ensuring that we beat Napoli, that is the way to make sure that we qualify from the group. But I want to win this group, and I think the game that you are more comfortable losing, if you're going to be comfortable losing one, I think it's Chelsea and the Carabao.
Yes, but I think there's an argument to say that if Liverpool win the Carabao Cup this season, that there's
you can push on, yeah.
You can push on from there, and you can use
Chelsea have shown they do it every time they win the league, really, don't they?
Yeah, you use it as a springboard.
Yeah,
and you go forward. And I mean, I'm not saying that should be what Liverpool's aim is this season, but if we win the Carabao Cup, then we go on from there and we can have a proper tilt at the Champions League.
True, but
proper tilt at the FA Cup.
But it is risky,
and of course,
with all the extra games.
But what's the point in having in the squad depth if
I know, but I'm just thinking when we went back to Kenny's season, when we did go really, really deep into both cups, like we won the League Cup and we sacrificed the league form for that. The league form in that second half of the season was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, and
we got to both finals of the domestic cups, but we had to sacrifice the league.
But what you're forgetting at that point is
obviously the team's a lot worse. The squad's a lot worse.
Kenny had to start playing Suso and Raheem Sterling in the league, who were 17 and 16 at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly a point where Liverpool were brimming with the quality that we are now. I mean, the quality we've got now on the bench is better than the quality we had starting at that point.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, we had Jay Spearman starting at that point.
Jesus.
And that midfield, do you know what I mean? It's fucking dark days.
I just think if we're going to lose one of these games in this 7, I would prefer it to be that. I
understand sort of, but I don't look at the Carabao Cup as a way of doing anything else other than giving players who aren't going to get the minutes otherwise game time.
True.
Which, I mean, if you're going to say to me Liverpool get knocked out in the third round of the Carabao Cup, then what it means to me is where's Xherdan Shaqiri getting his minutes from? Where's Daniel Sturridge? Even deeper than that, where's Divock Origi getting his minutes from? Where's Fabinho getting his first couple of games from to properly bed in? Where's Simon Mignolet getting minutes from? I know we don't give a flying fuck about him. Joel Matip, how's Dejan Lovren going to get any minutes back?
Yeah, you're right.
Because you don't want to be taking those chances in the Champions League. Whereas if you've got cup games where you've just said we're not really asked. It will be a nice platform to build from, but we're not really asked too much, if we're honest, about a Carabao Cup run. That to me is the write-off that you just go, all right, well, we'll experiment there, and we'll give Ryan Brewster his first couple of minutes in the senior team, and he won't get that against Napoli. He won't get that get that against Red Star Belgrade, because this group, the 3 teams at the top of the Champions League group, I mean, probably doing a disservice to Belgrade there, but if we're honest, it's probably going to be out of PSG, Napoli and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Whoever picks the most points up, if anyone drops points against Red Star Belgrade, they're probably the team who doesn't go through.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we definitely need to blur them away. We need to treat them like Maribor and play the first team and just try to destroy them, to be honest.
I would be more than comfortable with Liverpool dropping points against PSG, and maybe not in this game. I want us to start off well.
It's at home. It's the first game, and it's at home.
I want us to start off well in the Champions League this season. Like if we lose away, then we lose away. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
But I can take second in the Champions League group if it means that Liverpool are still in all 4 competitions come the new year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And to be fair, like finishing first and second, there's not really much difference. Spurs won their group last year and came up against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Was it Besiktas won their group and came up against Bayern?
Yeah, it's like, one of those, isn't it?
Once you're in the knockouts, everyone's good.
The new seeding is just meant that
it's crap.
Everyone is a good team to come up against. Another point as well in favour of staying in the Carabao Cup is the argument you've just used is Chelsea always seem to win the League Cup before they win the league. Chelsea at the moment are looking like the team who could push City with Liverpool this year. So do you not want a chance to get rid of them first and foremost?
Perhaps.
We're the first team they come up against. We could knock them out, and then that's it. Then
knock them out, and then batter them at their place as well.
Yeah, exactly. We could ruin it. We could ruin Chelsea's season in a week. It'd be fucking great.
All right, yeah, fine. With that, you've turned me.
Yeah, sad. Right,
I just want to ruin Chelsea's week.
Yeah, that's good. Are you confident about PSG this week? We've hardly spoke about it. We just talked about the run of games.
Yeah, it is so difficult It is going to be a difficult game. I do think we'll win because we're at home and they will not have come up against anything like us before. They will not have experienced a night at Anfield before.
They played Celtic last season, and Celtic is as good as Anfield.
Atmosphere-wise, yeah, but like atmosphere plus actual players.
Yeah, actual talent on the pitch. That's a very good point. That, to be fair.
I don't think they'll have experienced anything like that before, and I think we will have too much from. I think the time is right for everything to click into place. Like Wijnaldum scoring away from home in the Premier League must be a sign from God that we are about to win everything. Yeah, no, I am confident. 7-0. But the real prediction, probably a tense, nervous 2-1. I don't see us, like, as defensively sound as we are, I can't really see us keeping Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani and Di Maria out for an entire 90 minutes. It's going to be really, really difficult.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
But it's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch, like, the partnerships that are going. Well, not the partnerships, but like the
battles.
Yeah, the battles, the oppositions that are going to form. Yeah. So it's going to be Mbappe's on the left, yeah.
Against
Trent.
So
Mbappe against Trent.
Robertson against Di Maria.
Neymar and Cavani against Gomez and Van Dijk. That is going to be really, really interesting to watch. I think the game's going to be won in the midfield. I really, really do. If we can get that. If we can win, sorry, the dog's just fucking his teddy next to Kerry. It's so funny. But I think if we can win that midfield battle and get it forward to our forwards, I think we are going to be able to damage them a lot more than their forwards can damage us if we win that midfield battle.
It is all about winning that midfield battle. Do you think a draw before the game kicks off at this point in time?
No, it's at home.
No, I know, but what I mean is a draw acceptable? I'm not saying I offer you a draw right now, you take it, because that's not how you work in the Champions League. Right. You should aim to win every game.
A draw is acceptable.
Yeah,
I think. Obviously, it's not what we want, but I think a draw against PSG, who are everyone's favourites to win that group, I think that would be fine. We can give them a game. We can give them a game away from home. We might be offered a little bit more space away from home as well, and we can, like, we are much better than Napoli. We are much better than Red Star Belgrade. We win those games, we get out of that group. Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of pride against PSG.
I think it's if you want to finish top in the group, then PSG you have to overcome them.
So you got to beat them at least once.
I think it's very interesting with PSG as well. The depth of their squad. It's something that I spoke about in the summer, but I couldn't quite understand their transfer philosophy in the summer because they had a lot of issues regarding financial fair play. And what it meant is basically they had to turn around and they had to get rid of the likes of Javier Pastore and the likes of, is it Eduardo, the one who went up to Celtic?
Yeah.
And basically they had to offload, they had to offset £60 million worth of players so that they could then sign Mbappe. And what it effectively has meant is PSG have gone into this season with a weaker squad overall than what they had last year.
Yeah. They weakened their squad to keep the same first team.
Yeah. So basically, to keep the same first 11, they've literally had to go, right, okay, well, who doesn't really feature? And it's probably meant that Julian Draxler's still there because of that reason. They couldn't risk losing another player. Yeah. I think it's just quite interesting.
I think that might affect them a little bit later on in the season, not against us in these Champions League games so much.
No, but what I'm getting at with that is if we look at the game that they played on Friday, I don't know what they have on the bench to affect a game as such. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, on Friday they give us a huge compliment because they don't start Mbappe, they don't start Neymar. So I mean, on the bench we can probably expect to see Julian Draxler, and from there, Choupo-Moting, who played for Stoke, he's at PSG now. Do you know what I mean?
I did not know that.
What I mean is, what I'm getting at is basically, if Liverpool go into this game and we fly into it like we did against Man City, we fly into it like we did against Man City.
They've got nothing to change it.
What changes it?
Yeah.
Are they reliant purely on Neymar just giving a bit of brilliance, or is it literally just an unknown quantity off the bench that we don't quite appreciate at this point in time? It just feels like the business they've done in the summer is significantly weakened them, and it won't affect them in France, but it might affect them in the Champions League this season. I don't think there's enough about them to win the thing this season. I mean, you saw last year, injury to Neymar, and their Champions League season just went straight off a cliff.
Yeah,
and they had no chance from there. So, yeah, I'm confident about this. I genuinely think Liverpool will... I think their star players are better than our star players, but... I mean, Neymar would walk into any team in the world, and Mbappe would walk into any team in the world. An argument to say Salah would as well, but you are. I mean, you have to wait until the end of this season, I guess, to say that with Salah. But you know, the pair of them are two of the best players in the world, and they will probably be Ballon d'Or winners going forward for the next 4, 5, 6 years. I think the sum of the parts, though, with Liverpool, it does add up to a bit more than what PSG have got.
Our team is better, and I think as a team we have a higher ceiling. Obviously, Neymar and Mbappe's ceilings are just ridiculous, out of the fucking stratosphere. But like as a team, I can't see PSG being able to pull a Champions League win out of the bag. I can see this Liverpool team being able to do it. We showed that last year, and the squad and the team is better now.
So much better.
Yeah.
It's mad how much better it is now. Okay then. So you've given your prediction.
Oh yeah, 7-0.
2-1. You went with
7-0.
I'm going.
Disregard the earlier 2-1.
I'm going with either. I see this being either a 3-1 or a 2-all. I see this being one of those games where basically there's going to be an important goal in it either way. I think Liverpool basically go in 2-1 into about the 70th minute at 2-1, and it's about whether PSG have got enough about them to see it off, or Liverpool have got enough about them to kill it off.
Yeah.
And I think the optimist in me thinks Liverpool 3-1, no problem at all. Go in, play against Southampton, destroy them.
Yeah.
But destroy Southampton on the weekend, but we'll see. One question I didn't ask you is, how do you line up in this game? Do you go with the same team that played against Tottenham, or would you expect, if everyone's fit and Firmino's wearing an eye patch?
Yeah. So last week I was thinking that we wouldn't really see the front three all playing together. We'd see maybe 2/3 of that front three and like some form of rotation of that. But having thought about it and having seen the front three start against Spurs, I think we're safer playing the front three against PSG and maybe resting one or two of them against Southampton. Nothing to disrespect Southampton, but like we can have Sturridge and Shaqiri coming off the bench for that game, and the quality will not drop off too much. I think we need to make a statement with this PSG game, and I think he's going to go for his strongest lineup. I think he's probably going to go for the same lineup that went for Spurs. That midfield seems to be the one that's settled, although he did mention that Henderson's going to come back in.
Yeah, he did.
So we'll see who that's for.
But this is the thing. I think if Henderson comes back in, it's Keita who drops out. I think he's made that change already this season once with Leicester. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Whether I want it or not is a completely different
but
question.
We'll see.
There would be an argument for Fabinho, I think, if he was further along, purely because of
he knows
his
PSG
yeah, exactly.
Team, yeah.
He knows the team he's playing against.
But to throw him in for his first, not even his first start, his first minutes, for Liverpool against PSG, would be very harsh.
A massive argument to say he gets minutes against Southampton.
Definitely.
Probably half an hour, and then starts against Chelsea in the Carabao.
Yeah, I think so. We go full strength first team against PSG. Southampton, we go.
I'd much rather see Liverpool rotate for Southampton.
Yeah, for Southampton, we rotate a little bit. For Chelsea and the Carabao, we rotate fully, and then that starts the next 3 games. So we separate them out into 3 games, with the Carabao Cup in the middle, which is completely rotated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like how that's going to go.
Okay. All right, I'm fine with that.
I hope.
Okay, so let's move backwards in time then, and we'll talk briefly about the rest of the football this week.
It's all crap. It's not Liverpool.
Just briefly, just to cover where it's left.
We do need to laugh about it.
We do. So, as we speak right now, Southampton and Brighton are drawing 0-0.
Who'd have thunk that?
I know.
Monday night game with two not very good teams.
Still fancy Danny Ings to score in this. I look forward to being right and listening back to this.
I think it stinks of a 0-0, to be honest.
Fair enough. So as we've covered already, Liverpool 1, Tottenham 1, Liverpool 2.
That's better.
Bournemouth 4, Leicester 2.
That one came out of nowhere, and I didn't even realise it happened until I watched it on Match of the Day 2 today with you.
Absolutely nowhere. I can't quite work it out. I mean, Leicester's team is quite strong as well.
Vardy's back in everything.
Vardy started, Maddison started, Damari Gray started, Maguire, Morgan, Schmeichel all at the back.
Yeah. Who scored for Bournemouth? Was it
Ryan Fraser got 2. The Scottish.
He was injured.
The Scottish Shaqiri got 2.
Worse than nightmare.
Josh King got 1, and then Adam Smith got the 4th.
Oh, no, Callum Wilson.
No, Callum Wilson. No, he got a yellow card instead. How fume would you be? How fume would you be if you had him in your fantasy team?
Very.
You sat there.
Well, I don't have him, so it's sad.
Yeah, I had Mitrovic instead for some fucking strange reason.
He's been swearing by him for the last few weeks.
So I mean, he did save me a couple of weeks, didn't he? Yeah. But Chelsea 4, Cardiff 1. Now, I spoke briefly about it.
I was so excited when Cardiff went 1-0, you know.
I don't know why. I really don't know
why. But it was just so weird. Cardiff don't score goals.
Yeah, same. I was dead excited as well. I can't understand, looking back, why I was. They scored in the 16th minute. And there's a lot of football left there.
Yeah. Is it one of those cliches? They scored too early.
Yeah, they might well have done. In all fairness, they defended like dogs. They really did.
Terrible.
I think I'm doing dogs a disservice there. They were absolutely awful.
Yeah, Paul Riley.
I think there's grounds to say that Cardiff are the only team. Realistically, I can't see who they beat this season. Honestly,
Huddersfield, perhaps.
Even then.
Sorry again, Lexi.
Even then,
you're bad. I'm sorry.
I'm going to save the Huddersfield game till last because there's just one point I want to talk about that on that game.
Yeah.
While we're on Chelsea though, Eden Hazard, 5 steady goals out of nowhere. The world's raving about him again.
Of course. One of them was a penalty, one of them was a massive deflection, and
he's not as good as Kevin De Bruyne. He's just not as good as Kevin De Bruyne. He's
not
as good as Sergio Aguero. It's probably an argument to say Sané's as good as him as well.
Wow.
Just away from Liverpool. I'm not even mentioning Liverpool players. I'm just mentioning players who people can't just go, you're being biased.
We'll see if he's more consistent under this more attacking manager. Even though Conte was relatively was pretty attacking. He was just he played free at the back.
I didn't see who said it, but there was an article on Sky Sports that said that at Liverpool or City, Eden Hazard would score 40 goals.
Wow. Okay.
In a season. I think there is probably a good point to that. It's whether his attitude would fit in those teams, because when he can be asked, he's very good.
He is.
But he's also the first player to down tools when it goes wrong with a manager.
And generally he's quite inconsistent. Like, didn't he go
a year without scoring?
Yeah, like a
that was when he was down on tools under Mourinho, though, when he decided he didn't have enough.
Like, for a player of his quality to not score him that long, and for him, he plays as a 10 or a winger, or sometimes as a false 9.
Yeah,
you want goals from a player like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, props to him. Gets his hat trick.
And Giroud gets 2 assists because he's boss.
And he's gorgeous.
Willian scores a fucking great goal there.
Yeah,
as well.
It is stunning.
City beat Fulham 3-0.
Nothing
to talk about. Fulham give them 3 goals.
Yeah. Aguero scores none of them, prick.
Yeah, I know. They're all from fucking 5 yards out as well.
Yeah.
I think
they're his favourite kind of goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's really strange. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 2. Rafa's horrible start to the season in terms of fixtures continues there.
Mm-hmm. Is that it now? Is it a little bit of an easier run now?
Their next game is Crystal Palace away. So no.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I'm not being funny. You couldn't handpick a worse run of games, really, because they've had Cardiff. They've had Cardiff in there. Yeah, fair enough. But they've had Cardiff in there. But they've got Crystal Palace away now, then Leicester at home, and then United away.
Oh, fucking hell.
Exactly. There's probably argument to say that that Newcastle don't win a game until 20th of October. They play Brighton at home. That might be the first.
That is so long into the season.
It really is, and that's nothing to do with themselves. I mean, they should have beat Cardiff. They missed a penalty in the last minute.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That's not to do with themselves.
Crap.
The fixture list has completely screwed them over with the start of the season.
God bless that computer, eh?
The only team they haven't played out of the top 6, well, once that run's done, will be us.
Yeah.
And they don't play us until Boxing Day.
Okay, so we've got a bit of a respite through November and then a bit of Christmas.
Yeah, but then around Christmas...
A bit of Christmas, a bit of December.
Fucking hell. But then around Christmas, they've got us, Watford away, United at home and Chelsea away.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell. Yeah, I think might be Newcastle's year, this.
Yeah, it might be.
To go down. Arsenal, 3 wins on the bounce. Is it coming together? Is it coming together? Granit Xhaka carried on the myth that he's good at free kicks. He got his customary one every 3 years, so now he'll be living off of the fact that he can take a free kick.
Of course.
Or take a long shot for the next however long it'll be.
Yeah. I still don't really rate him defensively. I'm still not sure why. They're still playing check, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Still not really sure of that because he's just not very good anymore. I don't think... For him, about decent, but against not very good teams like Cardiff, Newcastle, and who was the third?
West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. Well, those teams speak for themselves, really. West Ham got their first win today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, sorry.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Watford 1, United 2. David De Gea, yet again, gets 3 points for Manchester United.
Yeah, pulling out of the bag for them. Imagine a United team without this David De Gea. Where would we finish? 7th, 8th?
Yeah.
Like, they are a talented squad managed by
an idiot.
A has-been.
Yeah.
And the only reason that they get results anymore is because of De Gea. It is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't really add to that, to be honest. I mean, it's exactly my sentiment as well. I can't be arsed with him. I hate him.
Yeah.
De Gea, but I also...
Have you seen...
I want him to move so I can really appreciate how good the goalkeeper is as well.
Yeah.
I could really do with that.
I'd really quite like to like him.
Yeah.
Have you seen David Squire's Guardian cartoons every week?
No.
Oh, because he's come up with just the best characters. Emo Mourinho.
Right.
It just... Like, proper... fringe down over his eyes, like, you don't get me, Mom, you don't get me, Woodward. And honestly, it's just the best thing he's ever drawn. I beg you, go read all of this season's David Squire's Guardian cartoons, because they are fantastic.
I'll have a look on them when we finish there. So moving on to Sunday, because I want to come back to Huddersfield, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
So Wolves 1, Burnley 0. Wolves 30 shots.
It is absolutely ridiculous, and some of them, they seemed harder to miss than to score.
Really,
it was
did.
absolutely.
Joe Hart didn't have much to do at all.
No,
they only
like,
scored once.
He made a few decent saves, to be fair, but like, just some of the misses, absolutely ridiculous. When this Wolves team properly clicks, like the fact that they had so many shots and a lot of them were good quality shots, it bodes really, really well for them in the future.
If they have a proper quality striker up front now, they'd be.
I do like Jimenez and
he looks good
Jota, though. They are both really good players. Jota's like a winger coming forward.
I think Adama Traore's really impressed for them as well.
Yeah, they've got a lot of talent behind them.
Yeah, and I think I said they were poor at the start of the season, but it just seems to be making a bit more sense as the season goes on.
There's been a lot of players coming in there. There's a lot of settling in to do and like getting used to the league. And I think in a few weeks they're going to be a joy to watch, to be honest. Against some of the lower league opposition and against some of the top teams, I think they're going to surprise them. Like, they've already got a draw against City. They could. Yeah. I reckon we could easily beat 1 or 2 of the top 6 this season.
Please don't be us. Please don't. Please just don't be us.
All right, fine. The top 5 that isn't first. There you go.
Yeah.
Better.
Well, we're second at the moment.
We're finishing first, though, so fuck you.
Moving on to Burnley, though.
They're shite.
Worst start to a top flight season for Burnley since 1927-28.
That's a long, long time.
Oh, what a goal!
That's not Danny Ings.
It's not Danny Ings, it's Højbjerg. I hope Ings got the assist.
Needs to replay this.
What's going on with Burnley?
I don't know, because we all thought it would be because they wouldn't the wheels wouldn't fall off Burnley's season until a bit later in the season because of the Europa League. But they're out of the Europa League now. Surely they should be the fitter team of all the teams that they're facing for now. And it's just, the wheels have already fallen off.
Okay, now what a strike.
That is a finish.
Well done, then.
Very, very far out as well.
Yeah, it really is.
But it is worrying, and when you saw Sean Dyche getting linked with, well, no, not getting seriously linked with, but like getting talks about as
Swerve
a top manager. Oh, right, it couldn't be more bottom corner, could it?
Swerve on it.
Trying to talk, and trying to watch this at the same time. I think maybe it was Sean Dyche's. Maybe that was the time to go. Maybe that was his peak with Burnley, and maybe now it's all a bit flat for him and flat for the team.
You can't leave after that, though, can you?
I know.
You need to stay and see what you can do with it.
Yeah.
And the answer is fuck all.
Yeah. I was just upset I didn't get to see a nutsome Ukrainian coach.
I know.
That's all I wanted from that season.
They got a lovely trip up to Aberdeen.
They didn't even go to anywhere decent.
I know. Next game, Everton 1, West Ham 3. Away from laughing at them for just 30 seconds, right?
Okay, fine.
Okay. Finally comes together for West Ham. They drop Jack Wilshere.
Vindication!
Yeah. They drop Jack Wilshere and they go to a 4-3-3, which means automatically Yarmolenko comes back in on right wing, scores 2 goals. He's a good footballer. Who would have fucking thought that? So with that, with that change, we've literally just freeing up the options up front. West Ham will automatically look like a completely new team.
Yeah, it's a lot more fluid, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean Felipe Anderson was incredible yesterday. Again, he just looks like someone who can create something out of nothing. And with better players, he probably would. To be fair, it will click with the others because Marko Arnautovic is just one
he's
hell of
a
footballer.
really talented striker. Yeah. If there's one player to rely on in that West Ham team, it's him.
Yeah.
Or unless you're in the 6-yard box and it's Hernandez.
Yeah, that's true. Declan Rice had a really good game yesterday as well.
Played really well.
And someone who really impressed me was Diop at the back. Looked really solid. West Ham had a couple of shaky moments, as any new defence really does. But I mean, when you consider they have brought in like Fabianski, Diop, and Balbuena were all new players. I started just a fucking dog.
Literally,
yeah, literally,
he is a fucking dog.
But Everton. I mean,
Everton.
It was poor.
It was poor. Defensively, so bad.
There's a mistake from Jordan Pickford in there as well.
Yeah, who swore that he wouldn't dick about with a ball like a certain Brazilian goalkeeper that plays for Liverpool.
Instead, he just gives it to the opposition from 40 yards out.
Yeah, well, he's not letting him get close and giving it him that way. He's picking him out and passing it to him. So really, it is quite talented from Pickford.
It really is.
It's really good.
Got a good eye for a pass to a West Ham player who do well for West Ham. But yeah,
and also the case of his very small arms appears again.
Yeah, that is true. Marco Silva's looking old, isn't he?
Yeah,
he looks.
That
like
job just seems to age you.
Yeah, he's looking like a man who's.
David
Moyes
was so handsome before Everton.
He's looking like a man who's going through a hard time right now, Marco Silva. I pity him a little bit, but at the same time, I find it really funny. Yeah. So,
and I enjoy the booze. I love the booze.
Love the booze.
I can't wait to talk to the guys at work. It'll be great.
They're just. They're in a weird...
I'm on holiday this week, so I can't go and just chat to them and say, so how was it? I was like, it's fucking shite, lad.
Cenk Tosun's already fell from grace with them as well. The talk already is that Richarlison should be starting up front.
Because he played as a 9 against for Brazil, didn't he?
Yeah.
He scored 2.
So Richarlison should be starting up front, and then Bernard left wing with.
What happens when that doesn't work?
You're
going to play Sigurdsson as a false 9?
They sack Marco Silva because they don't believe
Bring back the Rhino.
I think I said this at the start of the season. This is going to take a lot of time at Everton to get right.
Oh yeah,
and then
we need to enjoy it while it lasts.
It's whether or not they decide to give him that time or not.
Yeah, whether they stick or twist with him.
What do you make of David Moyes' claim that Everton were a striker away from a title challenge under him? when he was at Everton. He said, yeah.
How many strikers? 11?
I mean,
11 strikers. And also, some of them are called defenders. One of them is called a goalkeeper. And at least 3 of them are called midfielders.
He whittled through some players. He went, you look at the team. We have Mikel Arteta, we have Tim Cahill, we have Phil Jagielka, Sylvain Distin, Seamus Coleman, Leighton Baines. And I was like, yeah, about 2 of them get into a Liverpool team at any point in that time. Leighton Baines and probably Seamus Coleman. You can fuck off with the rest of them.
About 2 of them getting into fucking Hodgson's Liverpool.
Yeah,
that's how bad it is.
Fucking hell, yeah. Well, Hodgson's Liverpool were
it's not good.
The worst memories I've got as a Liverpool fan, to be fair. So that is saying something. Okay, so we've had a laugh, we've had a joke. I want to go back though to Huddersfield versus Crystal Palace. And that's the note I want to end on, and you can probably guess where I'm going to go with this.
Maybe.
Wilfred Zaha scores again.
Oh yes.
But he's also booked in this game for what we call a poor challenge. He decides to go and have a kick at somebody.
Yeah. It's revenge. It's, you know.
What do you make of his comments regarding referees? So if you haven't seen the interview, basically, what Wilfred Zaha he's talking about what the treatment he gets from Premier League referees and Premier League opposition, and basically he actually said the words to Match of the Day. I think I'm at a point where someone is actually going to have to break my leg before someone gets sent off against me. He cited a couple of incidents where people have raked their studs down the back of his calf, nothing, yellow card maybe. There's a particularly poor challenge in the game yesterday, where I think it's Jorgensen only gets a yellow, and it probably is a red. It's a poor challenge, and he's put Zaha at risk.
Yeah, it was a really, really poor challenge.
And Wilfred Zaha's, he's obviously quite upset about that. And what do you make of comments like that from him, that Premier League referees are actively avoiding basically what it comes down to is he's saying that his reputation as a diver, which he got at United, rightly or wrongly, he got at United. He basically thinks that is coming back to haunt him now, and referees are giving him less in the way of decisions because of that. Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's just about his reputation as a diver. I think referees tend to see it as one team has their star player. That star player is going to get kicked more than the others. You need to, and the referee lets it slide a little bit more because that's their tactic and that's how the game goes. We saw it last season with Salah. Salah was getting kicked a hell of a lot. Hazard gets kicked all the time. He's the most foul player in the Premier League for last 3 seasons running or something stupid. And it is dangerous. It does get to the point where someone's going to get really, really hurt before someone gets actually sent off for these horrible challenges against the most talented players in these teams. I think a lot of people are latching on to the fact that he did get that reputation as a diver in his United days, and saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have been a diver then. You shouldn't have dived so much. Maybe referees would be a bit more lenient." But referees should not have that in their mind. Well, I know we're all only human, and we all have unconscious bias. But they really need to work on making those unconscious biases not biases at all, and looking out for the safety of these players.
Well, this is the reason I bring it up. Is basically we've had our own issues with referees in the recent past. Saying that referees are less likely to give a penalty at Anfield than people believe. It's just interesting to see whether or not that bias, that players also believe that bias does exist, and Wilfred Zaha's quite outspoken about it now. I hope he doesn't get into trouble for speaking about it, because
no doubt he will. The FA is shite.
Yeah, that is the kind of thing he would do.
Can't abuse the referees. Yeah, they're like the goalkeepers of non-playing. Football.
Referees get too much protection. You might be right there. I just wanted to talk about that really, because it is terrible, to be fair. Like some of the challenges that have been going in on him, and if
He's going to get hurt.
It's sad to see a good footballer feel that as well, because you start seeing you start seeing him fly in for tackles like that, and you start seeing him get a bit disgruntled with it, and it probably goes some way to putting people off football as well. And you don't want that with your top quality players.
Yeah.
And you certainly don't want to see any kids getting scared away from football, or getting scared, seeing their hero as it is getting absolutely hacked down.
Shit out of,
or becoming frustrated as he has been. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about this week.
7-0 against Southampton, by the way.
7-0 against Southampton.
We didn't mention that earlier, but
yeah.
Standard.
It was brought up in the run of games. We'll rotate. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's been that for this week. So if you could like us on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, Podcast Addict. I can't even think of the rest.
Your mum's notice board, notice board at work.
Yeah.
Any blues you like or hate.
Yeah, all them. I don't know. Did I say YouTube? Probably said YouTube.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
Well, you've said it like 3 times now.
Well, it comes up on WordPress as well. I just sync the accounts together, and it just comes up on WordPress, which is where articles will appear at some point, I promise. Yeah,
we're so busy.
I know. Yeah, it's fucking horrible, but having a job and trying to do this.
Yeah.
We fit the time in when we can.
We do.
So that's been this week's The Story of a Poor Boy. Thank you very much for listening.
Cheers, guys.